So you want to know what it's like to drive a Hyundai Elantra N, specifically a 2025. This is the facelifted version. They redesigned the exterior in 2024 to make this thing look a whole lot more clean. I mean, just look at the 2023 and now look at the 2024 and 2025s. It looks a lot better, as it should. Now, this is a car that, number one, is attainable for literally anybody, but number two is interesting in where it stands between the competition. You have the Honda Civic Type R, you have the GR Corolla, you have the Subaru WRX, you have the Volkswagen Golf R. But this thing used starts at $32,000. And the owner of this walked out of the dealership paying $38,000 after all fees, all expenses. So this is definitely cheaper than what else you can get in terms of the competition with a four-door sedan, especially if you want one with a manual transmission like this one has. So I'm curious to see and explain what this thing feels like to drive and if you should get this over all the other options that you have. As for the exterior, of course, this is the N, so you have that beautiful accent that runs down the side of the car. You have the N badges front and back. You have 19-inch wheels, 245s for the tire width front and rear with those N styled brake calipers. In the back, you have a very nice, pretty subtle spoiler though. And underneath this hood is a 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine producing 276 horsepower and 289 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers may not sound that crazy, and in reality they aren't. But let's see what it's like and throw the seatbelt on and see what those power numbers actually give you the feeling of. And also, right when you sit down in this thing, guys, these seats are so nice. So many cars nowadays that charge these ridiculous prices are junk, actual junk. They break, the interior is terrible quality, but for 32,000 used, you're telling me you can get these beautiful Alcantara seats that bolster you in super nicely with an illuminated N badge. This thing lights up at night. You could even get Alcantara on the door panel, these nice speaker designs. I mean, everything in here, guys. Sure, it's not all perfect. Leather steering wheel though, nice blue stitching to match the color of the N buttons right here. This is like very, very refreshing to see this in 2025 with all the junk that's being made nowadays. Interior ambient lighting as well running across. Might be a little bit difficult to see given it's daytime, but I love the shifter here. It's glass, you can see right through it. I think it's glass, might be plastic, but nonetheless, the presentation here, guys. You got the oh crap handle for your passenger when you're hitting the top speed of 155 miles an hour inside of this car. I love this. I love this for the price. It feels, and it is high quality, and reliability wise seems like owners are having a good time with their Elantra Ns. In the infotainment screen, by the way, very responsive, very nice to use. Jump into N mode here and you get a bunch of information about your car, your throttle percentage, how much pressure you're applying. Even with the brakes, you can see my foot getting firmer and less firm. Brake pressure, turbo pressure, oil temp. You have another version of your RPM gauge. You have different circuits you can look at. I guess if you're just bored and want to look at circuits, I'm not too sure what the purpose of that is, but it's there. Scroll to the right and you have all of your adjustable settings, your engine, your steering, your suspension, your rev matching, your ELSD, electronic limited slip differential, traction, exhaust sound. This thing does have an adjustable exhaust with everything except for ELSD having 3 different settings: normal, sport, and sport plus, along with the G-force meter and launch control. What a package, guys. For 32,000 used, I think that is a huge part about what's so appealing with this car. It gives you so much playfulness and so much to offer for the price. Now, with that in mind, let's get rolling off here. And we're going to start off in eco mode just to pull off, and I'll describe the feeling in its most comfortable setting here. Off we go. yeah, guys, the combination of the buttery smooth clutch and how little pressure you have to put on the clutch. I will say the bite point isn't very obvious in this thing with the clutch, but the smoothness of the clutch, the smoothness of the shifter, and in its eco setting, this is the custom mode display, but everything right now is in normal mode. So the engine's normal, the steering is in normal mode, the suspension is in normal mode. It feels so soft and commuter friendly. So if you're looking for a car not just to track, but to have a good cruise to work in, or drive around, you know, pick up groceries, drop your kids off at school, I mean, it is a very soft car if you want it to be. However, you have these two N buttons down here, along with a rev match button and another N badge, just to remind you that you are in something more special than just a regular Elantra. These N badges can be configured to do whatever you would like by. If you hold it down, you'll get brought to a screen that lets you configure what the button actually does. And right now, this left one is set to function as putting everything in Ed mode, as you can see. Even a little indication that the vehicle ahead of you is driving away, in case you're somebody that likes texting and driving. I do not condone. But that's cool. Got, of course, all the modern safety features inside of this thing. And instantly, at a push of a button, you hear the exhaust get louder. You suddenly get pops. This steering has a lot more weight to it. The bumps in the road are way more present. This does have a very noticeable adjustable suspension in terms of, like, I know when I'm in sport mode or when I'm not. Oh, I love that. I'd be doing that all day in this thing. And we got a bit of a corner here. Let's throw it in. The combination of 3,186 pounds with Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's with front wheel drive, kind of sucking you into the corner as you're really throttling it, it makes for a very nice feeling track car, if you will. Again, I just spent time talking about the softness of this car, but that is what's so cool about this thing, is its dual personality. It could so easily be a calm, nice commuter without those obnoxious pops, but as soon as you want to have fun, press one single button, configure it to what you want it to mean for you, and all of a sudden you have a very aggressive car. This stuff makes all of the difference in terms of how it feels in every aspect with driving, steering, suspension, rev matching, cornering, traction, you name it. I would say most importantly the exhaust sound though. And in terms of its speed, guys, it is zippy. Once you get above 4,000 RPM, you get all of that turbo boost, and you're ringing out that four-cylinder. Above 4,000 RPM, you really do feel like you're moving for sure. I will say though, it is certainly one of the slower cars on what I've driven. It could use more power. It should have more power. I think an extra 30 or 40 horsepower would make like a world of a difference inside of this thing. Because guys, I sold my Shelby. I daily drive a Lexus ES350, which is just a regular Toyota V6 making 300 horsepower inside of a very heavy luxury sedan. And so normally everything I drive feels like super fast compared to that. But this, you know, it's playful, it's fun, and it's zippy. The turbo really helps out with the playfulness of the car, but it definitely doesn't make me feel like, oh my gosh, like this thing is quick. In first and second gear, sure. Beyond that, no. But but when you are in traffic and you do floor it, that's when I think you really get the feeling of like, okay, 276 horsepower is all you honestly really need. Oh, I was gonna turn right there, then gosh, I didn't. And we got a Mr. Police Officer here, probably looking for me. And that can be very easily done inside of this thing. So that, in that moment, I felt like this thing was pretty quick. Getting those pops on every shift it adds to the experience a lot. What is this like to drive? It is a very affordable, fun car that I think you should consider if you're looking in the Type R/GR Corolla bucket. This is a car I think you should absolutely test drive. You should experience this before you spend the $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. Honestly, closer to 50 if you're looking at a Honda Civic Type R. But definitely do yourself a favor and give this thing a try before you spend your money on one of those cars. This has one of the best sounding 4-cylinders in the market for the price. This is definitely zippy enough. I will say if you are driving in more open road highway / interstate type conditions, then you're gonna want something faster without a doubt. But in city driving, light to light sort of situations, this thing has enough power, and I would say it's a lot of fun. All of the different modes are so awesome. All of the different track settings and information and features and these seats, all of it comes together to create a really fun experience. Right when you sit down in this thing, you can just start playing around with the car. And again, for used $32,000, this can create a pretty awesome experience. If you do own this thing or you have driven one, I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Seems to be reliable, seems to be getting phenomenal owner reports. And yeah, that's gonna be a wrap. Appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon in the next video. Peace out.